Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making this beautiful wooden platter out of a 200+ year old piece of oak that came out of an old farmhouse when it was being renovated. During this video, I made a very dangerous mistake that could have caused serious injury. I will share more about that and how to prevent it in this video later on. Now here's that old piece of oak that I was talking about, at least 200 years old, and it's insanely hard at this point. Oak is already a very hard wood, but as it ages and it dries out, it just becomes harder and splinters a lot while you try to work it. And I'm going to be having quite the time trying to carve this, but one thing I did not notice, and you really want to study your wood before you start turning it, before you put it on the lathe, is make sure there are no weak points. Sometimes it's hard to tell if there are going to be issues with the wood, but if there are already external cracks or rotten pieces on the wood that might break loose or come apart, that's definitely warning signs that you'll want to make sure you're being careful about. Now, I didn't see any cracks in this wood. There was one along the side, but it was being cut off from the section that I'm using my router right now. So I didn't think there was an issue, but later on when this is on the lathe, I'll point out that crack shows up later on. So I have the bottom of the platter done, and this is when you can see that crack. It's continued to grow or reveal itself a little bit more as I'm carving. I should have seen this and been a lot more careful. Right now I'm putting the chuck on the bottom side of the bowl, and I'm going to switch it around, but the problem is that chuck will not hold this block of wood as much as that plate is on the back. I have 8 screws holding the block of wood to that plate, and instead of holding everything together, the chuck is pushing apart. This makes the problem I'm about to have much worse. Another thing that I could have done to stabilize this a little bit more, maybe hold it in place a little better, would be using the tailstock on the other end, holding it together. But the problem is where this cracks down the middle, that tailstock wouldn't have helped in this case. And finally, the speed was too high as well. I slowly worked up in increments and everything was stable, and I had no warning signs as far as that goes. And out of nowhere, I noticed the wood was starting to wobble. That scared me. I figured this was gonna fly off, so I ducked down. I moved down to the right and reached over to turn off the machine, and that's when the pieces went flying. One hit my shoulder and bounced off, and they went all over around the shop. Sounded like an explosion going off. I can only imagine that if I were still standing up straight, that one that grazed my shoulder would have hit directly on my chest or my face and caused a lot more damage. And unfortunately, in the video you can't see, I was actually wearing headphones and a hard hat with a shield that covers your face, as well as safety glasses and a mask because this old wood was so dusty. Now, even with all of that, it still would have hurt like crazy, maybe even caused a ton of damage with this block of wood if it hit my face. This is really old, heavy wood, and when it hit the ceiling and hit the wall, one of the pieces actually split into two, and that's how much force it had when it was flying. Now I'm gonna glue these back together, and with this glue, It actually hardens a lot stronger than most woods. When you try to break this joint apart, it will splinter the wood before it cracks the glue. The glue binds so strong. So I have trust that this glue will hold together. I'm gonna put this back on the lathe once it's done hardening, but I'm gonna use the plate like I did originally. That will have 8 screws holding the wood together, keeping it from spreading apart. Now this will leave permanent holes on the bottom of my piece, but I would rather have that than this try to expand and break apart again. I'm back on the lathe now, and this is on the slowest setting that my lathe can go. I'm also standing off to the side. I have all the same safety protection on, the mask, the hard hat with the shield, the safety glasses, and the headphones to cover out all the noise. Everything's covered, so I'm trying to be really careful here, and I'm not going to be carving much more down into this wood. I originally wanted to make this a lot deeper before it all exploded. Now I'm just trying to carve the piece and finish it off so then I can be done with it. Now right here, I sped up the video a little bit. This is still at the slowest my lathe can go. I'm trying to take this slow and as easy as I can to prevent any other accidents with this wood. Now I'm finally done with this platter. I'm gonna go ahead and seal it with some butcher block sealer. It has oil and stain, and it's supposed to be food safe as well. We're not gonna be using this platter for food, but if you needed it to be, it shouldn't be a problem. Alright guys, that just about finishes up the video for today. I hope this one was helpful, and maybe this will help someone else avoid getting hurt on a lathe. It's really dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, and even if you do, sometimes mistakes happen and you can get hurt pretty badly. So I'm going to try to look out for the wood as much as possible and let it tell me what's happening, and check it periodically throughout the process to make sure there aren't any cracks, nothing's going to happen, and try to stay as safe as I possibly can. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys have any advice for how to stay safe while using the lathe. There's still a lot that I want to learn, and definitely can learn from you guys as well. So let me know down in the comment section if there's something else I can be doing to ensure this never happens again. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.